Alright troops, it's time to get off. Take one for the team. In the name of science, march! Snap to it, don't be afraid, it's not gonna hurt really, promise you. You're already dead, how bad can it get? Alright, get going. No? Are y'all refusing? Alright, plan B. See you down there. Alright, time to loot. Verify the damage on the zombie tissue. Welcome to another test in 7 Days to Die, where we're going to have a look at the fall damage of zombies. Why do we care? Well, if you make fall traps, it's really good to know when a fall might kill a zombie, and maybe which zombie types rather, and when it might not. And the results are pretty interesting actually, and they're not entirely consistent either apparently. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like and subscribing, because that really does help me out. But let's have a look at what we have here. So you see all this scrap on the floor? That's the remains of test 1. I had a very nice 200 high pillar here with a lot of tests. I had mapped everything out nicely with signs and everything. And for my last test, and of course this was before I was recording, so this was just a pre-test test, I was dropping a cop down. Went very well. He fell down, exploded, and it took the whole pillar with him. And no more pillar, and all my notes went with that because of course I had just put the notes on the pillar on signs which all fell down, nothing on paper. So the second time, and of course this was after a bit of a time, I did another test, and I started putting out, at 10 meters, 50 meters, etc., and I got some really nice consistent damage from the zombies. And I was putting out this like Darlene here, which has 100 damage, and she would die from 10. I had a skater, which has 200 hit points, would die from 15, and so on. And of course, if you're looking at this, we go like, is that correct? 15 meters drop, do you actually take 200 damage? And the answer is, well, maybe, sometimes. So I was doing this, and I went all the way up to, I think what's the highest one, 700. This is 600 at 48 meters. And I got 61 meters taking 700 damage, and it worked every single time until I restarted the game. And I thought, fine, I'm done, I can do my video now. I restarted and nothing worked, nothing would die. And it turns out that sometimes the game actually ends up having a problem in how it's calculating game damage, or fall damage rather. Why this happens, I have absolutely no idea. It was consistent that whole time until I restarted, and then it just was not calculating that way at all. I tried whether it was the surface that had an impact, whether concrete or steel would make a difference, but nope. It was something with that run through of starting the game that caused some maybe some corruption in how the math is handled, because obviously at 10 meters it's not going to take 100 damage. It's actually going to require a fair bit more. So this was another hour and a half of work that basically is not going to do it for me anyway. So we're going to have to do it a third way, which is going to be slightly different. We're going to use list entities, or LE for short, to actually check the health of the zombies, drop them, and going to see how much damage it is on 20 up to 100 meter falls. So let's get rid of all these other zombies for now. Let's see. Well, see, they actually started dying, which is a bit weird. You saw Darlene, she fell down and died, and from 10 damage she actually should not be dying. She should actually be alive. And again, that was interesting to show, because the hungry woman, she actually died from her fall, and that normally should not happen. So that was interesting that I got this captured. So the way the damage is handling this time is actually not the way it normally does in the game, but as I mentioned, sometimes it just breaks. Don't know why. It's a good question. And some of them died, but Darlene definitely died from 10 meters, and she normally does not die from 10 meters, and neither do most of these ones, because it doesn't deal this type of damage from falls normally. So let's do a very quick test here. So up here at, let's see, it's 21 meters, which says 300 damage. Let's spawn in a zombie farmer. And let's see what happens to him when he falls down. So he actually dies, and that's not what normally happens. But actually, I'm glad this happened this time, because this is not what it did subsequently. So it is really weird how the damage is being dealt, because again, let's do another Darlene here. Darlene, well, she comes on top of me. Let's do that here. Darlene. At 10 meters, she should not be dying. Well, she broke her leg at least. So, you know, it's really inconsistent how the damage is applying sometimes. So I'm going to restart here and come back and do with list entities, and we'll see what happens. Alright, I'm back here after restart. So let's look at this 10 meter again, where Darlene was actually dying in some of the drops just now. And let's spawn in a Darlene. And let's do a list entities, and we'll see that actually she has 100 health. And let's do another list entity. You see she's got 67. So she only takes like 33 damage here, which is the normal one. Previously, she died. So let's do another Darlene. Again, just start dropping on my head, please. Let's do another Darlene here. Alright. And another list entities. You'll see. Come here. Alright, and you'll see that she took around the same 35 damage. So there's no way she's going to die from a fall from just 10. And this is generally the type of damage that occurs when you're dropping them from 10 meters. But as you saw just now, sometimes the game decides to deal a lot more damage at falls. Why? Good question. If anyone knows, let me know in the comment section below, because I'm really curious as to why this is happening. But let's go have a look here. So here I made another big pillar. It goes up all the way to 100. And let's do a normal drop here. And we're going to do it using the list entity. So let's spawn in a pretty tough one. And let's do the Hawaiian guy, because he's got 700 health points. And of course I should have him look at me so he actually falls down. And that's just 20 meters, and we do a check here and took about 105 damage, which is basically right. Actually, this is from 21 meters to be sure. If you do from 20, it's not even going to do 100 damage. It's going to be do slightly less. And why does that matter? Well, because a lot of the normal zombies like Darlene, etc. have 100 health points. So if you drop them from 20, they will not die. If you drop them to 21, usually they will. Let's see if we can get rid of him. Now, of course, I'm using one of the god weapons. If you haven't seen my video on how to unlock them, go have a look. So let's do it at 30 meters here as well. Let's spawn in Hawaiian again. LE 700, and he's down. And that took, well, only 100 damage as well. Maybe he landed on something, I think. He could have. Let's get rid of him. It's possible that he actually hits the ladder here. So let's get rid of that one. Let's do that again. Hawaiian, come here. Actually, look at me. Alright. Alright, so that's a bit better. So that took about 140 plus damage. So that's a bit more reasonable from 30 high up. And of course, the reason I'm using the ladders is because zombies tend to path across them thinking they're full blocks, and then they'll fall down. So at 40, let's see how much damage that is. And of course, he's going to fall down. He's still alive. And that took about 175 damage. So it's actually going up. You saw from the 20-30 up to 40, it's now doing a fair bit more damage. Let's take out this ladder and let's go up to 50 meters. Actually, see if we can get rid of him just to make sure you don't fall on top of him. So let's spawn in another Hawaiian. And can you guess how much damage it's going to take? Yes. Come here, mister. and he broke his leg. So that's about 205, 207 damage. So that's a little bit more than previously. So I'm going to go down and clean up just to make sure there's nothing there. Then we'll go proceed up to 60 meters. All right, we're now up here at 60 meters. Let's spawn in another Hawaiian and thank him for his contribution to all this testing. It is appreciated. And down he goes. Let's see, he took about 235 damage there. So that's pretty good at a 60 meter fall. Let's take out this one. And let's go up to 70. So now it's starting to do some real damage. But again, some of these zombies have a lot of health points. And the Hawaiian is one of the most out of the normal ones with his 700. All right, come here. Yes, sir. Have a nice meal. No? All right, let's get in your brother then. Let's loot that one. Let's get in your brother. Also Hawaiian. Yes. 700 first. And down about 252 damage. So it is doing a fair bit. Let's make sure we take out this ladder as well. And go up to 80 meters. As usual, get Hawaiian in. Have him walk off the edge if he decides to play ball here. And took about 270 damage there. So at 270 damage is taking out a lot of the zombies, but obviously not all of them. And that's still an 80 meter drop, which is, you know, pretty heavy. Let's do 90. So we're only going to go up at 100. Obviously, you can continue doing this as high as you want to. But the result will be pretty interesting, I think. So 700 down to 416. So that's about 285. We have the final drop at 100. So let me just go down and clean and we'll continue. Okay, we're up here at 100 meters. So any bets for how much damage it's going to take? Well, let's find out. Mr. Hawaiian, please do the honors of walking off here. Yep. And he fell all the way down and still alive. So that took off quite a lot of damage, about 300 plus. So that's at 100 meters. So what if you drop zombies on top of other zombies? Does that mitigate the damage? Are they bouncy? Maybe they are. Let's go up to 50 meters. 50 meters did about 200 damage previously, so let's start here. And I put a hatch here because to get these ones to stay still, I've turned off the AI so that they are not moving around. So I can't have the zombie walking off this place because then everything else will be walking as well. So let's see if I can keep him there and have him drop down. And 495, so he dropped on top of one and took about the normal damage. Let's redo that one just to be sure. Hawaiian, and let's drop him. Did about the same. So it doesn't seem like it's actually mitigating any of the damage, which is a really bit surprising because I thought it did. Let's do that again. Let's check Ellie. Nope, it always seems to do about the same damage. And obviously it definitely is falling on top of another Hawaiian. So it's not like it's missing them. Let's verify that. Yep, it definitely hit the top of one Hawaiian. And yeah, it was doing maybe 10 less maybe. Again, that could be because it's falling a block or 2 less. In this case, it's 3 less. 4 less, so they're neatly stacked up here. So falling on top of the head doesn't seem to mitigate damage more than, well, the fall distance is slightly reduced. So what if they are falling on top of corpses? And thank you Hawaiians for helping me have a bunch of corpses here. So let's do the same test and see if corpses actually make a difference. And let's go up to 50 as before, just to have a consistency in the testing. So let's spawn in Mr. Hawaiian. Thank you for your contribution to science today. And 489. So that didn't really seem to make a difference. Let's see if we can get rid of him. Yes. Let's try that again. Wine. Normally it takes 200 damage, and now he still takes about 200 damage, 200 plus. So that's not really making any specific difference, and that's very surprising because it's always been one of my impression, at least, that if you keep dropping zombies on top of other zombies or the corpses, that they will take less damage. Means that your drop traps will be less efficient. But at least from what I see here, it's not making any difference. 50 drop is still doing about 200 damage, regardless of whether it's on top of a zombie's head or whether it's on top of corpses. So that's really, really interesting. If you have any different experience, let me know. And again, it could be like when I showcase this one, sometimes it's just acting differently. Maybe the math is corrupted or just being done differently, and that's causing issues when people are playing in the bases and having their fall traps. But I really hope this helps in your fall trap planning. What do you think? Is it inconsistent? Can you explain why at some point, some of the tests, like in the beginning, this was actually doing 100 damage and killing Darlene, and then, well, then it was not? Why is this happening? Do discuss in the comment section below. And of course, you did like and subscribe, right? Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link below.